We are live at IBC. Welcome back here on the Live View stand. This is the Next Web's coverage of this huge broadcasting technology show in Amsterdam. Now, the last couple of interviews we've done this afternoon have been around the idea of companies bringing data to broadcasters and other content providers about some of the challenges they're facing, such as piracy. This next company is really getting in there and providing some of the solutions to the problems around security and other things that those broadcasters and content providers are facing. And so to talk to us about that, from Cryptography Research, it's a cool name for a company, and Paul Kocher is their Chief Scientist and President, which is a cool cool thing to have on your business card. Hello, Paul.
Hello, thank you very much. Great to be somewhere where being a cryptographer is cool.
Fantastic. So, so going back to that title then, Chief Scientist and President. I get the President bit. What does Chief Scientist involve?
Well, so the problem of figuring out how to make semiconductor chips secure is really an area where there's been a tremendous amount of research that's had to be done over the past 20, 30 years. And in the 15 plus years since my company was founded, we've been doing a lot of that research, and it's involving questions of transistor physics, how information leaks from chips, so what you can pick up with radio receivers and electromagnetic radiation coming out of chips. If you can't keep this information contained in the chip, you can't build a secure pay-TV system. You can't protect your keys. Without the keys, you can't protect the signal. So issues of semiconductor physics and security at the lowest level are really essential to a lot of what we're doing.
Okay, yeah. So tell us a bit about some of the work you do and some of the companies you work with.
Sure. So one of the big areas that we're focused on in this industry is building security blocks inside the chips that process content. So when you have content that's going to be delivered over a satellite or cable system, the chip in the SoC that does the decryption of that video can have security logic in it. And we've integrated or announced integrations of our security blocks with a lot of vendors, including ST and Broadcom and Entropic and Vixus and a number of others. So these integrations involve us putting security hardware inside the SoC so that the chip that's doing the video decoding also does the decryption and security inside of it.
Okay, so you say security on the chips, but what kind of threats are you tackling?
Well, so there's a whole lot of things that the bad guys are really good at doing to chips. So they'll take a chip apart and analyze it using equipment like focused ion beam workstations. You can look for software bugs in the chip. So if the software running in the chip has got vulnerabilities, anything running either in the main CPU, whether it's in the main area or in a protected area like trust zone, is potentially vulnerable. You can glitch a chip so that it will make a computation error, and by analyzing the errors, you can figure out what's going on. In our blocks, we build separate hardware that works independently from the rest of what's in the chip. So even if there's a bug in the software or somebody trying to glitch the chip or physically analyze it, our block is self-contained. And so we build protections against this full range of attacks into the blocks that we produce.
Okay, so so you mentioned pay TV, for example. So things like set-top boxes, things like that. Counterfeiting. What's the issue there? There's a big section on your website about how you beat counterfeiting. So what kind of counterfeiting are we talking here?
So all kinds of products get counterfeited, from networking gear to printer cartridges to medical equipment, aviation components, anywhere where the manufacturing cost is a lot less than the sales price. And so what we do for products in that with this kind of an issue is we'll put a security chip or a portion of a chip onto the product that can authenticate using keys in the chip that it's an authentic product. So your networking gear, for example, when it receives an authentication command, can prove back to you that it really was made by the company whose brand is on the front of it, and not a product with backdoors that was made by somebody else, for example. So cryptographically, it turns out that the problem involved in securing pay TV and protecting a product against counterfeiting are very similar. If you can keep keys and secrets inside the chips and use them, then you'll succeed at defeating these problems. If you cannot, the adversaries are going to win. So at the chip level and below, it turns out you need very similar kinds of protections.
It sounds like a really silly question, a very noob question, but can your anti-counterfeiting technology be counterfeited?
We have a perfect track record, but when you look at security technologies, you never ask whether something is 100% perfect. The mathematics even may be strong, but the implementation may be, with enough effort, somebody might find a vulnerability. That said, we have a perfect track record in the field, and I certainly intend to keep it that way. We also do arrangements with our customers where we take the liability if something goes wrong. So you never say never, because the moment you think you're perfect is the moment you're going to end up missing something. In our chips, we put multiple layers of defense, so it's also quite possible that we have made an error in one layer, but have had other layers to protect us. So we're very worried about what could go wrong, and that's the thing that keeps me awake at night. But so far, we've served our customers very well in that regard.
Okay, and looking at some of the trends in terms of the security issues you're looking to tackle, are there things on the horizon that you'll be turning your attention to in the future? What direction is your company taking?
Well, so there's the industry's facing a collision of multiple trends that all conflict with each other. So people want to deliver content in more flexible ways and new ways to the same devices, so creating a lot of flexibility and functionality there. You have pressure for more security from the content owners, and you have a pressure to drive down costs to be able to reach the emerging markets. So to try to cope with these pressures, one of the strategies we've been using on the technology side is to build security hardware into chips that are already there, so you don't need to have dependence on software-only solutions, and also you can avoid having to put in extra chips that cost more than you might be able to afford for many of these markets. So I mean, security is all about figuring out what is the best protection you can get given the budget you have, and trying to improve security and flexibility at a lower cost is ultimately what we have to deliver and what the whole industry here has to be able to do.
Okay, well, it's been great to speak to you. How are you finding IBC this year?
You know, this year it's been great. There's all this fear about the economy and so forth, but there's no sign of that here. Industry is really healthy, a lot of excitement, and the products being shown here are exciting, but even better is the stuff that's going to be here next year and the year after. And I'm working on the semiconductor chips that will power those, and what I see coming is going to be really, really neat. So the energy is all in the right direction.
And can you tell us anything about these technologies that are down the line that are on the way?
Well, so there are a number of things that are happening, from integration of components that are currently very expensive into a little corner of a chip that you might find in a tablet or a phone or a set-top box. So what is currently high-end is going to be low-end soon, and what is currently unattainable is going to be high-end. We're also seeing new security capabilities that can help meet the Hollywood pressure to get really high-level security so that you can deliver content earlier in the release window at higher quality. And then, of course, you look at the displays and just the 4K and 8K resolution, where you can be staring at a screen from a few inches away and it looks like a postcard, and then you realize that this is a 100-inch screen that you're looking at, and it's just amazingly beautiful.
Fantastic. We look forward to that brave new world, and hopefully we'll be able to take a look at that over the next couple of IBCs in the future. Well, Paul Kocher, thank you very much for this look into the world of cryptography research, and well, have a great IBC. Thank you.